Hi everyone, my name is Danielle Glosson. I'm in the Masters of Entrepreneurship program at Western Carolina University, and today I'm visiting Allison Outdoor Advertising in Sylva, North Carolina. I'll be speaking with Gary Ayers. He's the president of the company, and hopefully I'll be able to find out some more information about marketing and outdoor advertising. I'm here with Gary Ayers, president of Allison Outdoor Advertising. Thank you again for talking with me today, and I was hoping maybe you could tell me a little bit about Allison Outdoor and what kind of services you provide.
Well, Danielle, mostly we do billboard advertising, which is your basic billboard advertising. We do some custom signage if somebody wanted, say, for example, a 4x8 sign, or if they wanted some graphics work done, we do that some. But probably 95% of what we do is just billboard advertising. A business wants, especially, we really do well with the restaurants, the motels, those kind of things that really attract the tourists who need directional advertising to send them to their restaurant or their motel. So those are the people who really rely on outdoor advertising to get visitors who come through the area to their particular business.
So do you provide most of the outdoor advertising here in Sylva, maybe in Dillsboro and Cullowhee? What's your range?
We cover several counties. Actually, we go from Haywood County, which is Waynesville, Kenton, and we go all the way to the Tennessee state line. We have North Georgia counties. We have 4 North Georgia counties down around Blairsville, Blue Ridge, Hiawassee, Georgia. And just recently, we expanded our territory into Johnson City, Tennessee. So we're over there in ETSU country a little bit. So we've expanded over there. So now we're in 3 states. But the good thing is, from our location office here in Sylva, probably the farthest point is 2 hours either way. Like it's about 2 hours to Johnson City and Bristol, or it's 2 hours down to Blue Ridge, Georgia, and Blairsville down in that area. So it's easy traveling, but we have a lot of territory to cover in the area we serve.
Right, so you just have this one location here in Sylva that you guys commute and go take care of the other states. Gotcha.
Right. So we have all our salespeople. We have different salespeople in different markets, and then we have a crew that we send out every day to work on our billboards, and they all basically work out of this central office.
Very cool. Do y'all use other forms of marketing? Obviously, outdoor advertising is, the prime thing that you guys work with, but.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we do. Internet's really big for us. Of course, we rely on our website a lot, and we get a lot of hits off our website from people who are curious about what we do. We also advertise, not really directly, but we'll do like public service advertising in the newspaper or on the radio from time to time, just to kind of spread our identity around. But between the internet and our billboards, those are our 2 basic forms of how we can reach out to people.
So I guess you pretty much hit most of this. What all is included in the outdoor advertising? You mentioned obviously billboards and signage. Is that signage maybe like at recreation centers too, and fields and?
Yeah, we've done, for example, some work, as a matter of fact, at Western Carolina University. We've actually, and this is kind of different from what we normally do, but we've actually painted some of the what they call the purple monster at the baseball field, for example. We've done some painting on that wall. We've provided some signage for area baseball and softball fields that they like to put on the outfield fence for area businesses to advertise on. So we do some of that, but mostly it comes back to the billboards, and that's, like I say, probably 95% of what we do is just your basic billboard advertising that you see. And now lately we've expanded into the digital advertising with the digital billboards that a lot of people have seen. Some people call them LEDs, but most people call them digitals, where they change the message every 6 to 7 seconds. And that's really what the major companies in the country are moving toward, is the digital advertising on those digital billboards, because they're so easy to use. You don't have to send the crew out to change the message. You basically change the message from your laptop or your desktop, or you can actually do it from your phone. So it's become quite a nice toy to play with, so to speak.
That probably saves some space too. You don't have billboards all over the place. You have one that just cycles out,
Exactly.
several different ads.
Yeah, they're expensive, but by the same token, they also provide more revenue because they have more advertising
Right.
on those. Yeah.
So, what would be the process for a business, asking to use your services?
Okay.
How do you go about that? If I come to you and say, hey, I either want to be on that LED, billboard out there, or just have a standalone picture billboard. How does that work?
Okay. Basically, what we do when we work with a client, we find out what they're trying to promote. For example, in the billboard advertising, there are three basic things we try to determine. Of course, on the billboard, you need to describe, what the business is. And with directional advertising, that is really a major part of billboard advertising, is where your business is, and then what you're advertising. So it's kind of the who, what, and where, and what you're advertising. Because if you put too much on a billboard, it's just hard to read. It's impossible for the client who is traveling down the road at 50 or 60 miles an hour to get your message if you have too much on it. So we basically work with a client on a layout. That's probably the hardest part, is getting a really good layout with the client's logo. If they have a logo, if they don't, we can help them determine a logo that hopefully will be recognizable easily on the billboard. And then of course the directional is, if it's 2.5 miles ahead on left or whatever that is, we determine that. And then we try to figure out what they're trying to promote. If they're trying to sell specific items at a specific price, if it's a price point purchase, or if they're just trying to direct people to their restaurant or motel or entertainment, for example, like a Harris Casino or a Hampton Inn or a McDonald's. We do a lot of fast food advertising. Now, most of the fast food people like to do promotions, like, for example, Burger King, 4 for $4 meal, or Wendy's has a promotion like that going on now. So they're more into the promotional that changes out on a regular basis. But a lot of people, specifically the motels, they pretty much have their logo, where they are, and that's all they want to put on there. So again, it comes down to what you want to advertise, who you are, and where you are, and we work with a client in determining that layout that hopefully will be successful in that regard.
And you talked about graphics, so for somebody like me who has little or no knowledge in how to do that kind of thing, do you provide that kind of service too, to like help them get a good logo, or like you said, the logo, but even like just the colors and the graphics, like you help the clients with that kind of decision making too?
Yes, we do. We have actually two companies that work with us that are professional layout graphic designers, and so basically what we do, we come up with 2 or 3 ideas. We get back with a client and say, look, take a look at these and see if you like these, and we can tweak it and go back to the drawing board and refine those any way the client wants, because even though we try to do something that's really good for the client still has the final word as to what they want to put on there, because they're spending their money.
Right.
So, but yeah, we have some designers that we work with that are very good at what they do, and that really helps us, because that way we don't have to spend a lot of time working on graphics. We can spend time with the client and from the sales end.
So do you have a ballpark estimate? You talked about you have different kinds of signage and outdoor advertising. Do you have a range maybe of just what a company should look for in spending?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the business's budget, how much money they can afford to spend, and that's the great thing about outdoor advertising, is I'm sure, for example, newspapers kind of the same way. We have some of our smaller billboards that are only 6 feet by 12 feet. Those start as low as $100 a month, which is not a lot, but again, they're small signs, so they kind of have to be in town where the traffic is very, very slow. Now out on the 4 lanes, most of our billboards are 12 by 25 up to 14 by 48 feet. So the bigger they are, the more they cost, obviously. So those range in price basically anywhere from $400 a month all the way to $900 a month. It just depends on where they are, the higher the traffic count. Good example is here on Highway 107 in Silva. That's the busiest road we have in any of our markets. The traffic, as all of us know who live here in Silva and Jackson County, is just tremendous. And most of our billboards on this road stay sold year round. It's almost impossible to find one open because people want to be where there's traffic, and the traffic is moving slow. There are a lot of red lights. And that is another thing that a lot of people like on 107 is with our digital billboards, they change, and that kind of draws your eye to the billboards because you see that movement and that change, which makes you
Good
notice
point. Yeah.
that. So it depends again on the location, the traffic, and the size of the billboard as to the cost.
So I'm sure that if you didn't see an impact, you probably wouldn't be in business. But I mean, is there a specific maybe company or business? Have you seen a big impact in that outdoor advertising for them to be successful?
Absolutely. Some of the clients that we have really seen a growth area in advertising the last few years. One of those large areas is in the medical field, whether it's hospitals, doctors' offices of all kinds, whether it's eye doctors or just any kind of medical need. We've seen that really grow from just about every hospital in our territories. They all advertise on billboards. So many of the doctors who have their own individual private offices use outdoor advertising. So we've seen a huge growth in the medical field. They have really been drawn to outdoor advertising and seem to like it because obviously it's working for them. Dermatology, for example, we've seen a growth in dermatologist use of billboards. So from the medical field, again, entertainment is still a growing area. For example, like Harris Casino, the Smoky Mountain Theater in Franklin, if they have a special event, they like outdoor advertising. Again, I think a lot of it is because of visitors coming through, especially this time of the year, because we have these beautiful mountains that people like to come and visit. And Western Carolina University is one of our clients, and we have most of our community colleges in the area enjoy outdoor advertising. But of course, the fast foods, the motels, those are kind of our basic staple advertisers. But the medical field has really grown in our business the past few years.
I guess more recently, do you think that you work more with large businesses or small local ones here in Silva?
That's a very good question. Probably 90% of our business is actually from small businesses. Because we are in basically small markets as opposed to, say, in Atlanta or a Raleigh or a Knoxville or your larger cities. And the good thing is most of the people we deal with, we actually walk into the business and the decision maker we deal with face to face. Now, even, for example, in a lot of the medical facilities, the people we deal with are here locally that we work with. So, yes, most of the people and most of the businesses that we work with are local. Now, on a larger scale, for example, most of your McDonald's, your Wendy's, your Burger King actually come from out-of-town advertising agencies that place those buys for, say, Western North Carolina McDonald's, Western North Carolina Burger King. So that comes out of an office probably in Greenville or Atlanta. And they place the buys for the McDonald's and the Burger King and the Wendy's stores in these areas. So we don't really deal face-to-face with them as much as we do, but probably 90% of our business is face-to-face with the local mom and pop kind of business. Yeah.
Well, as an aspiring entrepreneur and hopefully one day opening my own business, is there any other advice or information you can give me? I've always believed in this, Danielle. Of course, I'm partial to outdoor advertising, having worked in it, but also coming from radio. We kind of try to explain to our clients that to be really successful, you need a media mix. And by that, I mean, you should try outdoor, you should try newspaper, you should try radio, you should try some internet advertising, and just experiment with those and find out what really works. Find out where your clients are coming from. Are they coming from outdoor advertising? Is radio better for you? Is newspaper better for you? Because I don't think there is
a perfect form of advertising. I think some businesses do better with billboards. Some businesses do better with radio. I think some businesses do better with newspapers. So I think unless you try those, I don't think you're really giving yourself a fair shake in your business to determine what is really working best for you. But in most cases, we really believe a media mix. I think you need a little bit of everything to try to reach as many customers as you can.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate your conversation with me so much. This interview has been very helpful, and I definitely have gotten a different perspective of outdoor advertising. And every time I drive up and down 107, I'll probably think about you. So,
Danielle, it's been my pleasure. And anytime anybody from Western Carolina University has a project, we're always glad to help.
Thank you, Gary. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.